Okay, so listen, I had watched the entire series of the Reesa Teesa, Why the F, Who the F Did I Marry? All 50 parts. I saw it on YouTube because I shut down my other social media accounts for right now. But I've been listening to a lot of the commentary. I had even started discussing it, like watching and discussing it with my students. I teach incarcerated girls and at a program, a state program. So one of the classes that I teach is life skills. And I even started to, it's great content to be able to like discuss with them, is right in alignment with the things that I talk to them about, how to make better decisions, about setting boundaries, having standards, and what have you. So it's a really good piece. First of all, my heart goes out to Reesa Teesa. Thank you for sharing your story. I think that was incredibly brave. I hate how people have begun to attack her and, call her, tell her that she wasn't attractive and all of the things that they've been saying about her. It was big back behavior and all of that. None of that's necessary. Because listen, that shit can happen to any of us. You know what I'm saying? That it can happen to anybody. Dealing with someone who's such a diabolical liar and has your whole world turned upside down. Like, unless you lived it, you wouldn't believe that it was even true. Like, it's a hard to believe story even. You know what I'm saying? And I could imagine being in it and not believing that this is happening. Like, questioning how someone could lie like that, right? So anyway, I've been listening to a lot of the commentary about it, and one of the things that I haven't heard people say, I've heard people talk about discernment. I've heard people talk about her tire blowing out as being divine intervention and all of that, right? And what I haven't heard people talk about is the importance of having high standards and strong boundaries. There's a part in the story where Reesa Teesa talks about how when they were on their first date, or maybe after the date or something like that, the song was playing by John Legend about how I think he thought he met his wife or something like that. I met my wife tonight or something, and how she thought that was a sign, right, to move forward. So when we talk about that, and we talk about the sign of the tire blowing out, all of these are signs, right, to do one thing or another. But none of that matters if you have high standards and strong boundaries. When you have high standards and strong boundaries, you don't have to pay attention to the signs. Like, you can, that's extra information, but your boundaries are supposed to protect you, right? Your standards are there to ensure that the people that you allow into your life are high quality people. So there was quite a few things that she did. I'm sure things that she would consider mistakes that she made, that I would consider mistakes that she made, things that I wouldn't do throughout this ordeal, right? One of them being, she allowed him to move into her home. I get that it was the start of COVID and she was lonely. She didn't want to quarantine by herself. But why y'all gotta live together, right? Like, why is that? Like, you could I had someone that I was dating during COVID, that I started dating before COVID or whatever started, and we still saw each other. I would still visit him, and we would have inside dates and what have you. Never ever did we talk about living together. You know what I'm saying? Like, in fact, I was dating a couple of people at the start of COVID, and one of them did suggest that he move in. He asked, could he move into my house? I was like, no, I don't need that. Like, I just don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And why do you have to live together? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why couldn't he have his place and you have your place and y'all just spend time together? So that was and she herself said that she valued, her value was getting married before moving in together, getting married before having children. So there were so many times throughout her story that she self-abandoned. She abandoned her own values, her own standards that she set for herself, and she didn't set boundaries around them. So if you value getting married before moving in together, that means that you apply that boundary, right? Or you set that standard and you apply that to everyone. It doesn't matter how cute they are. It shouldn't matter how much money they have. It shouldn't matter how well they treat you. It shouldn't matter the value that they add to your life, because one of the excuses that she made for this guy was that he added tangible value to her life, as far as like him coming in and paying the bills. Okay, that's definitely a positive trait, right? That's something that I look for in a mate. Does he add tangible value to my life? But that's not the only thing that I look for. And that does not mean that I'm going to allow him to trample all over my boundaries, or that doesn't mean that I'm going to lower the rest of my standards for him. I still have other standards that he has to meet, right? So just because you like a person, or you cannot be lowering your standards. You can't let your boundaries down so easily. Everybody has to meet the same boundary. Everybody has to meet the same standards, and your boundaries have to apply to everybody. Another example I give about this is if when you have strong boundaries, right? People come into your life. Oh, the conversation about love bombing, because I do believe that he love bombed her. I told her all the things that she wanted to hear and stuff like that, right? But when men do that, I remember there being a conversation on Clubhouse maybe about a year or two ago about the difference between love bombing. Like, is it love bombing if a man showers you with gifts or what have you? Is that love bombing, or is it him just showering you with gifts, or being able to have the money like that and spend on you, right? And so the answer is, it doesn't matter. And I'm gonna tell you why it don't matter. It doesn't matter what his intentions are. When you have boundaries that are strong, and you have the same set of rules for everybody, right? No matter what they do, no matter how much money they got, how fine they are, how sweet they talk, it's not going to matter what their intentions are. Their intentions are going to be revealed. That's why you want to have the boundaries. So if a man his intentions is to love bomb, and that means he's coming into my life and he's showering me with attention and gifts and words of affirmation, and dropping a bunch of money on me and stuff like that, right? If his intentions are bad, if he's doing this so that he can get a certain thing out of me, so he can get me to lower my standards and disregard my boundaries and break my own personal values for him, then it is love bombing, right? But if he's doing it because he just really likes me and he thinks that this is what I deserve and this is what he wants to do for me, this is how he wants to bless me and serve me, then it's not love bombing if his intentions are pure. How do I know if his intentions are pure? I set boundaries. So regardless of what the intentions are, he's doing these things. We're going out on dates. He's taking me out to lavish dates, the fine dining experiences that I like. We're doing all the things. And then he asked me to come upstairs when he's dropping me off, or he's asking me to spend the night with him. And I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to make that step. We're not on that level at this time, right? I haven't made those kind of decisions about him yet. Then I'm going to tell him, no, I'm not ready for that, right? I'm not available for that. I'm going to set that boundary. The man whose intentions are to manipulate you into a certain behavior for him, the reason why he's showering you with these expensive gifts and lavish dates is to get you to do what he wants you to do. He is going to have a hissy fit. He's going to throw a whole fit because you set that boundary. He's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did all this for you and you ain't going to give it up or whatever, right? The man whose intentions are pure is going to respect the boundary. He may not like it, but he will say, you know what, I respect that. And he's going to like you even more. It's important to set boundaries. It doesn't matter if you have strong boundaries that apply to everybody across the board. It's not going to matter what a person's intentions are. They're not going to survive your boundaries. Whatever it is that they're trying to get from you. No, you can't move in. I don't know you like that. No. I don't even need to give you an explanation. The answer is no. No, I'm not going to give you any money. No. Nope, not going to do that. Not going to give it up. I'm not even going to kiss you after the first date. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are just rules that I set for myself. What are the rules that you set for you? Okay, and let's back it up a little bit. How do I set these standards and boundaries? Right? You have to first set goals, relationship goals. What is it that you want to get out of your interactions with people that you like, whether it's the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever? What is it that you want to get out of this? Do you want a long-term relationship? Do you want marriage? Do you want friends with benefits? What do you want? Right? So you have to set the goal first and then decide, what are you comfortable with? How do you go about getting what you desire? You understand what I'm saying? So back it up, man. Set these boundaries. It ain't gonna matter if this person is a pathological liar. All of that stuff is gonna be revealed when you have strong boundaries. Or it'll just be averted and you'll never know that he was a pathological liar. All you'll know is he didn't qualify. He didn't qualify. Or he ran into one of my boundaries and he didn't like it, so he bounced. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't want to spend the time to get to know me anymore. He stopped pursuing me because I told him no. It's either going to be one way or the other. Either he's going to stop pursuing you because you tell him no. He comes up on your boundary, and he doesn't like it, and he doesn't want to deal with you anymore, and that's fine. You only want to deal with people who respect and honor your boundaries anyway, right? Or you're going to collect enough data about him to know that he doesn't qualify. He doesn't meet your standards for you to move forward with him. Either one of those things is fine. You don't need to know. I mean, do you really need to know if this person is a pathological liar or if he's schizophrenic? Who cares? He's not. Does he qualify? That's the question. Does he qualify? So, I say all that to say, this is the conversation that I'm not hearing about the Reesa Teesa series, which was excellent, by the way. Great storytelling. I can't wait to see that as a movie, or I think each episode that she told could be an episode in a series, a Netflix series or Hulu or something. Another thing I wanted to address, right? One of my personal standards is that I will not say yes to a relationship with a man unless I have met his family and friends first, and he has met mine. Because I need to evaluate the strong men in his life, the men who hold him accountable, and I need for him to meet the strong men and women in my life so that they can give me some feedback on him before I say yes. Reesa Teesa not only said yes to the relationship before she met his family and his friends, but she ended up moving in with him and getting pregnant by him before she met his family and friends. And when she was pregnant and finding herself having a miscarriage and having to get a procedure done because of the miscarriage, and he was unable to take her to the doctor, she was upset about that. He offered for his sister, that didn't exist, to take her to the doctor, and she said, no, I don't know her like that. Sisters, because her situation is done, and I'm sure she's learned many lessons. But sisters, my sister, if you have not met his friends or his family yet, how do you find yourself in this predicament of being pregnant by him? How have you found yourself in a predicament of having unprotected sex with him when you don't know your friends and his friends and family? You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're in a relationship with this dude. How? Right? If it's just a friends with benefits situation, y'all should be wearing condoms anyway. I mean, you wouldn't want to be pregnant by friends with benefits. So, like, boundaries, standards. Don't be afraid to have high standards. Don't be afraid of losing people who can't meet your standards or telling you that you're asking for too much. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong ninjas, right? You're asking the wrong people. Set those standards high. Have tight boundaries, right? And let's be clear about this. Also, boundaries are ways that you govern your own behavior in response to someone else trying to do something, right? Or wanting something from you. Boundaries are the things that you say no to. So if a person pops up over your house, this new person, you've been dating someone for about 2 weeks, you allowed him to drop you off after a couple of dates or whatever, and one day he just pops up at your crib, right? And you have a boundary that you don't allow that. You want people to call before they come over. Then you set that boundary, right? You don't let them in. You say, listen, I desire for people to call, or I require for people to call me before they come over my house, right? And at that point, you can either let him in, or you can tell him that you're not available right now. Let's say he tries to do it again, right? He says, oh, okay, my bad. I was just in the neighborhood. I just wanted to stop by and see if you're okay. I'm okay. Thank you for thinking about me. Please call first next time. Next time comes, he popping up again. He knocking on the door again, ringing the doorbell. Setting the boundary, enforcing that boundary means you do not answer the door, right? Because you've already told them. I don't care if he sees you through the window, sitting down, watching Netflix, drinking tea. You are not available for people. You've told him that you are not available for people popping up over your house. There's nothing to get upset about. It ain't no reason to go cuss him out at the door. You simply do not answer the door. If you tell a person not to call you after 10 o'clock, you do not take phone calls after 10 o'clock, and they call you at 10:05, you don't answer the phone. That's how you enforce boundaries. It's about your behavior. It's not about picking up the phone, cussing them out, getting all upset. No, you're going to teach them by you're not making yourself available for the thing that he is trying to do when you told him that you're not available to do that, right? That is how you enforce your boundaries. It's not about the other person. It's not about controlling other people's behavior. It's about controlling your own behavior. So I just want to make that clear. When I say have strong or enforce your boundaries, have strong boundaries, I'm talking about what do you do in response to this? How do you conduct yourself? How do you behave? What do you say no to? What do you remove your availability from? Right? Under what circumstances? Boundaries are going to be different for everybody, depending on your goals, depending on your value system, what it is that you desire, right? You value solitude. It's going to look a lot different than somebody who's a social butterfly. So boundaries are for you. We need to also talk about red flags. Red flags are not these universal things. Red flag, first of all, means stop. You see a red flag, that means stop. It's like a red light. You have to stop here. Yellow flags mean, no, I got to look into that. But red flags mean stop. And they're going to be different for everybody. What is a red flag to me may not be a red flag to you. It depends on your values. It depends on the things that you desire. It depends on your goals, right? So if I'm dating someone who wants to move to Japan after getting married and wants to raise their children in Japan or whatever, that's going to be a red flag for me. It's nothing wrong with that desire, but it's not for me, right? Because I ain't moving to Japan. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be different for everybody. So don't just take the universal information that you hear on the internet and be like, oh yeah, that's a red flag. No, is it a red flag for you? All right? Lying should be a red flag for most of us, right? Especially the diabolical lies that my man Legion was telling. Those should be a red flag for everybody. The sister Reesa Teesa there were so many times in her story that she abandoned herself. And one of the first times, now it wasn't the first, but one of the very important ones, where she self-abandoned. She abandoned her own values. She abandoned what she knew was true. And she made herself available for some nonsense, right? Was when she found out that the man was lying about sending the money for the house or whatever, putting the earnest deposit on the house that he supposedly had put an offer in on. When she found out that that was a lie, she found out that house had been sold, she looked herself in the mirror and she said, you know what? this man is paying the bills and stuff like that, so I'm going to allow him to get out. I'm going to give him an out for this lie. She didn't confront him about it. She didn't leave him for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she went along with it. And what that taught him was he could get away with lying. He can get away with it. If she even if she did confront him about it, and he continued to lie and deny it, and she knows that when you know the truth, and you allow that to happen, you allow this man to continue lying, you are telling him that it's okay to lie to you. You will accept that shit. We need to have higher standards than that, y'all. We really, 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 really do. Do it for yourself. Do it so that you can attract quality people into your life. Right? Because if we continue to accept people of low caliber, low quality, people who don't meet our standards, people that we got to make mad compromises on at the beginning of the dating relationship. Of course, there's going to be some compromises that got to be made when you're discussing marriage and you're discussing taking a relationship to higher levels of commitment. Yeah, there must be some small things that you got to compromise on, but goddamn it, don't compromise on your standards. Don't compromise on your boundaries in the beginning. If that person can't meet your standards for whatever reason, then they can't meet your standards. Let that person go. Stop being afraid to lose, right? If this dude is a good dude, he got a good heart, you know what I'm saying? He got a real good heart. He got dealt some bad hands or whatever in life, and he's picking himself back up, putting the pieces back together. He just got a divorce, and his wife left him with the kids and left him with all this debt, and he got to pay child support and spousal support and all of that. He's putting his life back together. He needs some space. He might be a good person. It doesn't make him any less of a good person, but it's not. Don't rush in and try to save that man. Let him be a man. Give him some space. He ain't qualified right now for you. We got to stop doing that type shit if we expect to attract quality men. Because at the end of the day, these men really they don't really value us coming and scooping them up and saving the day. We supposed to be the damsels in distress. They supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, like playing that role for us, not vice versa. And when you do that, you set yourself up for having a man who doesn't appreciate you, who doesn't value you, because you have lowered your value to sit down there in the mud with him. Cut that shit out. And I don't care what they say. Oh, I want to, get it from the mud together. No, you need to build it first. You need to build your value and offer me something tangible first. Right? That's just how it goes. That's how it should be in male-female relationships, in my opinion anyway. And if whoever don't agree with me, then you don't agree with me. We ain't got to argue about it. But for those who agree with me, then stop doing that bullshit. Stop lowering your standards. Stop compromising your boundaries for these dudes because they got good hearts. For these dudes because they cute. For these dudes because they got good thing. Because they got good head. Because they pay all your bills. They buy you matches. Stop doing that. He buy you a bunch of shit, but he cheat on you. And gave you all kind of diseases. Cut that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't compromise. Be okay being by yourself. Be okay taking trips with your girls and going on solo dates until you meet a high quality man who is worthy of your time, your essence, your energy, your presence, your companionship, and ultimately your commitment. Okay? And when you find that he is not worthy, when you find that he is not qualified, leave him where he stands. Now let's say that he's qualified. He is a qualified, high quality man. But y'all not in alignment. You know, he's a high quality man, but he want to move to Japan. And you're not in alignment with that. You can continue dating him. Just understand that. Just don't catch feelings. Don't allow yourself to get emotionally involved with someone who you know that you're not in alignment with. What we desire to, what needs to be present before you move forward with people is quality. And you can, know if a person is quality based on certain answers to questions and based on observations that you make about this person, right? So we want high quality. We're looking for alignment of our value system, alignment of our goals in life, the things that we desire, right? Alignment with, our needs. Are you comfortable with meeting the needs that he has? And is he able to meet the needs that you have, right? That's all alignment. We want quality, we want alignment, we want attraction and chemistry. That's important. Don't downplay that. If this person looks good on paper, but you don't have no desire for him, you don't want to spread your legs for this dude, not that you should, but there should be a desire to, then don't do it. If he's not attracted to you, if he's not head over heels for you, if you're not his dream girl, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You're not going to be happy with that decision. Right? You want all of those things to be present. If all of those things are present, and you take this person to meet your daddy and them, your uncle and your brother, your cousins and them, and they all come back and tell you this dude is a fuckboy, leave that man alone. Leave him alone. You've obviously misjudged. You've obviously misjudged. If you go and you meet his family and his friends and all of the men in his life ain't shit. The women ain't shit. Does he have anybody in his life who is aligned with his value system? Who guides him? Who can hold him accountable to a common moral code? If he doesn't, leave that man alone. Let him build that first. Right? If you want someone in your life, you want a long-term commitment or a marriage, and you want to have a traditional gender roles in your relationship where he provides for you, and you see right now this man can barely provide for himself, leave that man alone. Let him build it first. Right? We can still be friends, but don't take that man seriously. He can't give you what you desire. He can't meet your needs. Right? If he's all of these things, he's high quality and you like him a lot, and he has a moral code of honor, and there's men in his life who hold him accountable for that, and the men in your life have, they like him and they think he would be a good match for you, but you don't like him like that, just stop. Just be friends. Slow it down. Listen, I don't feel a romantic connection. It is okay to say no when you need to have a list of things that you desire in a mate, and it's okay to say no when those core things are not being met or not present. Right? We want our cups to be full. We want that shit to overflow. So have your list of core things, and don't settle or compromise when those core things are not met. Right? There are some things that you might be able to compromise on as the relationship progresses into commitment and stuff like that, but in the beginning, no. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure these people are coming correct, and you make the decision. Don't just choose the person who's choosing you. Oh, well, he think I'm cute, so he think I'm the one, so I must be the one. No, that ain't got nothing to do with you. What he believes about you, what he wants, ain't got nothing to do with you. Put yourself first. In the beginning, you don't have to make those kind of compromises for a new person. You don't have to put other people before you. You don't ever have to do that, honestly. But if that's something that you choose to do when you get married and have children, that's your business. But in the beginning of a courtship, of a dating relationship, you don't put other people's needs before your own. That's how we get caught up. That's how we get caught up. I had a dude tell me before, I told him that I do not have sex outside of the context of a committed relationship. And he told me, well, I won't get into a committed relationship until I've had sex first. Like he needed sex in order to decide if he wanted to commit to a person. He said, I'm not making no commitments to no woman whose sex is bad. He needed to test the waters first. And you know what? I'm not mad at him for that. That's his standards. That shit ain't mine. We wasn't in alignment. That's the answer. Okay, well, I wish you the best, but we're not in alignment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna date you because we're not in alignment. We want completely different things. There's no way around those two things. One of us would have to compromise, and it ain't gonna be me. He looked good on paper, but there was no alignment. If a man is not willing to do what it is that you need him to do in order to progress with you and to move the dating relationship into a committed relationship or whatever, then he's just not willing to do it. We only want men who are willing to do it. We want the men who are eager to do these things, right? I could go on and on, but it's been about 30 minutes and I'm gonna cut it short. I'm driving from work, but I would like to go into detail about these things. If y'all want me to go into detail about some of these things, I'm post this. I don't know where I'm post this yet. It might be, I might put my TikTok back on or whatever, but if y'all want me to go into details, type in the comments what you want me to go into more details about, and I will. Yeah. And then I also need to do an introduction. I talk to, like I said before in the beginning, I talk to young ladies all the time about dating and relationships and just female empowerment. You know what I'm saying? And setting the course of your own life and being in the driver's seat and making decisions that help you get what you desire out of life. And I talk to young women about this all the time. And people always tell me, you should start you should do this on social media. You should start a TikTok, or you should teach women this online or whatever. So I've been giving some thought to it and just sharing wisdom. I want to share wisdom with young ladies because I didn't have a lot of people sharing wisdom like this with me. And I feel like if I knew back then, I'm almost 50 years old. If I knew back then what I know now, I'd be lethal. I would have been lethal. And I want to see young ladies win. So I want to share this information. I want to share this wisdom. I think it's important. So if you think it's important and you want to hear more, let me know what else you would like for me to address. Or if you've heard something that I mentioned that you want to expound upon, you want me to expound upon, let me know in the comments. And we will talk later. Thank you for listening. Peace.